What's up, guys? It is your boy, the Bad Wolf, Mad Wolf, Half Wolf, but always providing you with the truth. So once again, I want to thank you guys out there. It's come to my attention that some of the trolls who had sites against me and information have been shut down and had to rebuild. So brava, brava. And also they've been reported, so that's awesome. As always, if you guys see somebody use my information or like this in any kind of way, negative shape, form, or fashion, you, all of you, can report them. And I appreciate it in advance. Otherwise, free to use the information in a positive way and with normal criticisms and thoughts and whatever else doesn't bother me whatsoever. All right, so in this particular video, we're going to be talking about the passport, okay? So we've learned a lot over the last couple of years about the process, and we're just going to kind of cover a number of things. But let's get the white elephant out of the room, okay? At least for this particular video. So in this, we now know that, well, let me say this, new information. Just back up. And begin. Okay. So in researching the passport further, we now know that according to the Department of State Travel, if your passport is expired or is about to expire within the next 6 to 7 months, let's just say, though that is a good time for you to renew it with a DS-82. Now, if you do renew it, you want to make sure that you've answered the previous one properly, whereas your parents were checkmarked off as non-citizen nationals or just non-citizens, which then by default leaves you in the position of them being a non-citizen national. Now, this is not a lie because they actually have had that status first before their U.S. 14th Amendment citizen side, okay? You can use whatever side of your nationality or whatever you have access to use it. You don't have to provide everything and say, hey, make me whatever this is, okay? So, but what they're saying here is that you have 5 years after the actual date that your passport is expired for you to still be able to renew without having to do the process all the way over from the beginning. Now, this would be paramount for people, let's say like me. I think one of mine has expired, okay? Probably because I was on the naughty list, we'll just say. And but that card only had a temporary 1 year standing or status, whatever you call it, expiration date. Because unbeknownst to me, which could be arguably fraud and misconception, is that because on the passport application, Department of State, who I know you guys are watching my videos, so take notice of this, on the application, it doesn't say that if you lost your passport and your card, you know, you're booking your card at the same time, that you would be penalized with only a year temporary one, and then they send a nasty letter. Okay? Sorry, I'm not a very good climber. I lost my fanny pack. It happens. So, for certain people in those situations or whatever, this means that if you've already filled out the proper one, all you need to do is renew it. Okay, so if you fill out your DS-11 the proper way, or for other people's situations this might benefit, you have up to 5 years before you have to do a whole new one. Now, in some situations, okay, so let's say you're like, some people, educational reasons only, entertainment. Maybe you're like, oh, well, now I've got child support, now I've got this and that, so I can't renew what I've got going on. Well, according to this, you have up to 5 years where you can just renew it. You're already considered still good in their status and their standing, so you just need to renew it. That's where the DS-82 would come along. Because remember, the DS-82 does not have your parental information, so you can't really just renew from where you are. Now, maybe you could include a statement. I think we tried that and we didn't get the results we wanted, but it would not hurt for some people to renew and then include an expanded explanatory statement on correcting your parents' information with that DS82 that might work. Can't say that we've proven those results. We've attempted it, but we didn't see anything that was confirmed. But we also did not do a FOIA on it to ensure. So, but that could be an option for some people. All right. So now to move on. So about the passport. Well, we now know for sure that the stars do have a status, okay, but they do not indicate your getting your non-citizen national status. So what I mean by that, they're two separate things as far as what we were able to determine. Now, we thought you had to have a 5-star. You do not have to have a 5-star. It is now our belief, okay, we're going to call this education for certain reasons, that the minimum you're going to get when you do this the proper way is 3. Each agent has the ability to take your information and determine which level they're going to put you on. So by filling it out the proper way, you've gotten your national status. So you're good. It is our belief that the 3 stars, starting with 1 and 2, is an identifier for showing that you are a U.S. citizen. Okay, so let me say this correctly. So we've seen enough evidence that typically most people who are just U.S. citizens will have 1 or 2. We've seen that when people do the passport and let's say they didn't provide a statement or they're not in the military or something of that nature, in general, they'll get a 3, which is the lowest, okay? Now, it's not my saying this, but it's come to my attention that 3 is the lowest of the national statuses, and that essentially you are halfway between being, so you still have your national side, but you're in a red zone kind of area where you can still be arrested, but your passport should, when scanned, come up with the do not detain, but that doesn't mean that they can't arrest you. It just means that they need to have good reason, good probable cause that you've committed an actual crime. Otherwise, you should be released. As long as you haven't done any damage to any U.S. citizen or national, major damage to property, you should be good. We've seen that with the explanatory statement, which takes out a lot of their questions and identifies you with the proper codes and status information and etc., that most people will get a 4 or 5. So we know that now. Other things about the passport application and process, we know that they've made some changes due to us making informational, entertaining videos on such. One of the things that they've done now is that if you create your own birth record, which there's nothing illegal about that, okay, we've done this. Some of the agents will say that before they'll take it, that you must go to the state in which you're born and get the vital statistic records department to issue you a document stating that they have no record on file. Okay, now this does violate your rights, and some of these agents don't understand that that's a violation. So one of the curves around that is to use their own file, which is a DS10, which I highly suggest using, modifying if you need, and then getting it notarized. Okay. We've also done the private birth records where we get them notarized, and then we've got them apostilled. So now you've brought your, yes, I said apostilled, not authenticated. Okay, we wanted to bring in your private record into their jurisdiction. So this is one of the very few times I'm going to tell you to go get it done and bring it into the clutches of the corporation known as the state of. So that's one of the ways. Now, okay, I'm trying to think. So also we know that for the permanent address, because we know that's where they get jurisdiction, because you're telling them that you're permanently domiciled within this, typically a state or federal, jurisdiction, instead of just being in the free. So we know that we do put rural free delivery on there, the city, the state, and then no zip code, or all zeros. Okay, never leave it blank. Try to never leave anything blank, because you never know what could happen with that open information, an open invite, we'll just say, to some people. So we've had people leave it blank. Okay, put not applicable, NA, on there. We've had people argue that using the city, okay, because some people's cities might be corporate and no longer free, or not of the republic, because your downtown city mayor should be of the republic, of the land, which should be where us nationals go for some of our remedy and from, for our things, we'll just say. But so then it's come down to, well, if you don't want to put the information, don't. But for people who put the state, they'll write out state of Wisconsin Republic, or Republic of Wisconsin. Okay, and then all zeros down there, because there is no law that states that you have to use the zip code nor give your address, because maybe you don't have an address. Maybe you're a transient. Maybe you are a wanderer. Maybe you're a gypsy, or maybe you're living in the world of the free, and this is you own the property, but you don't live there. Okay, or your house, and you do not reside within their territories. So that is it, guys. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on that we can dig up. Nope, that's pretty much it. Yep, that's it. Get out of there. We're going to take a midday break. I believe there's some donuts in the lobby. Lisa will be talking about the pros and cons of the trust, and we have Steve over here. He's going to be bringing in his homemade casserole. After that, we'll meet back here. So we're going to break for 30, and I'll see you guys later. So don't forget to check out the information down below. Check out the new shirts and whatnot, and hats and all that goodies. Get yourself some. Sales have been a little slow. You guys said you guys wanted new stuff, new logos, so we just did a whole bunch of new ones. So check it out, and let me know what you like. And there are multiple colors and all that good stuff. Because remember, that helps me keep the channel free. So if you're not going to send in a donation and mark it donation in the notes, then buy my stuff. Please buy my stuff. No, but for real, take a look at it, and if you like it, buy it. Hey, I appreciate you. Otherwise, for other discounts and offers, check out blacksite32.com. And as always, guys, when you're trying to get a hold of me for a product, or you buy a service or whatever else, email me and put in some of the information, the receipt number and or a copy of it, your phone number if it's going to be a consultation. If it's a product, make sure that you email me afterwards in general, just in case sometimes the notifications don't go through. It's just how it works. Email's not perfect. So that's it, guys. Thank you for all the things that you guys do. All of you, even though I don't see all of you, I know a lot of you guys feel like, I'm always in your house. So I guess maybe we're kind of, getting to know you. No, I'm just kidding. But that's it, guys. Take care. Appreciate you. I'm going to bring you guys some more fire information. So stay woke, and I'm out.